Hi dear friends, welcome to my channel. The next fountain pen I'm gonna take a look at for a short review is that from Visconti. Visconti makes series of fountain pens in the, let's say, low to mid price range, named after famous painters such as Rembrandt, Van Gogh, Michelangelo even, and they try to capture something, to integrate some elements from a particular painting into the fountain pen. As it is this case for Van Gogh Visconti, it's called the Pollard Willow. It's a famous painting from Van Gogh, and the color that this painting has, the Pollard Willow, has been beautifully integrated into this fountain pen. The fountain pen, this particular one, and all the series come in a beautiful box together with some information about the painter and as well as the painting whose elements has been taken and integrated into this fountain pen. It's a nice idea, a nice concept that is very appealing to fountain pen users, hobbyists, passionates, and even collectors. In this situation here, you have a beautiful swirl of various brown shades of color combined with green and yellows. And if you take a look at this Pollard Willow painting, it's just very similar, has a similar color scheme to this fountain pen. The fountain pen resembles the fountain pens from this series of Michelangelo and of Rembrandt. It has a very nice design from the end of the barrel, which you see here is metallic. The rest of the pen is, of course, resin. It's a plastic. It doesn't feel cheap at all. It's very beautifully designed and integrated. All the parts are seamless together. They have a nice flow. The finial of the pen, you have the Visconti My system, and you also have the famous clip with the Ponte del Vecchio from Firenze, and on it you have the Visconti logo as well. On the band of the cap, the metallic ring on the cap, you have written Pollard Willow, which is the painting trying to being integrated into this fountain pen, and you have inscripted here Van Gogh. Let me see if I can have this focused. You see here, well, my camera doesn't focus very well, but at least you see the beautiful color scheme of this fountain pen Pollard Willow. And also the shape of the barrel, you have it's not perfectly round, but you have small, I forgot how you call these things, you have small elements here, very beautiful combined together. And all in all, I think this is a very successful design, and I like it a little bit even more than, let's say, the Rembrandt model, which have more darker color tones from blue and black, and they are not really so joyful, so nice and brilliant and bright like in the Van Gogh case. I actually wanted, my favorite one is the Starry Night, also a painting from Van Gogh, where the colors are even more joyfully combined and more contrasting in this case, but this is nonetheless also very beautiful. And the ring has a nice design. Also the clip holds very well. The cap is held in place magnetically. That means it's also very secure, and it makes a very satisfying click that you actually closed, and it's very secure. I have no fear to carry it here in the pocket of my shirt or in any pocket for that matter. The section is completely metallic, as you can see. It tapers down, flares out a little bit, very comfortable in my hands. It's not big, not oversized, it's just, it has the right size. It also caps very well and very securely without any problems. It's not back heavy, it's very well balanced. Also the nib from Visconti is the same as those used in Rembrandt and Michelangelo. Of course, if you use the steel nib, you can also replace it potentially with other, let's say, palladium nib and so on. The nib has a very nice design, scroll work on it. Unfortunately, you cannot see it, I don't know why. Yeah, I guess you can see it a little bit here. I would say it's one of the most beautiful designs from Visconti, the scroll work. It says Visconti, and you have then written Visconti Firenze. And then I was looking for a marking. Yes, it's an M. This is an M medium tip. I would say from the writing point of view, it's okay. I'm not very humongously impressed of how it writes. The nib is rigid, one of the most rigid nibs I ever tried. Very comparable to the feeling you get when you write with Jinhao 159 and so on. The feed is plastic, nothing special, and of course it accepts universal cartridges, standard cartridges and converters. No problem here. Typically it should come with a converter when you buy it. The end of the barrel is flat, but also has a very tiny metallic button here fitted on top. And the finial, as I said again, it has this my name system that you can change and replace it with a letter, initials of your name, and so on. The next thing I'm going to do is a writing sample. So see you at the writing sample. Bye-bye. Now we are going to do a writing sample for the Van Gogh Pollard Willow. While writing, I'm going to cap just because it caps so nicely. So this is the Van Gogh and Visconti with a medium steel nib. For whatever reason, this pen appears to give some line variation. I think it's a matter of geometry, the way you hold it. If I hold it a little bit more perpendicular to the page, I'm not sure why. I guess it's the cut of the nib that makes it the downstrokes thicker than the lateral strokes, although this is supposed to be very regular medium. And it writes my feeling from fine to medium line variation, as you can also see here. So I'm going to write it one more time. Visconti. You see the downstroke are thicker than upper strokes. Visconti, Pollard, Willow. Whether there's a problem with, I see sometimes small skips on the upstrokes. This pen is not as wet as other Viscontis I've tried, and also the ink is Pelican Royal Blue. The pin is the nib is quite rigid, not very flexible. It has no flexibility to it. It's just this line variation on downstrokes that makes it, gives you that nice line variation. Reverse writing is possible, but it's very scratchy. The nib is not the smoothest I have tried. I would say the smoothness scales from 1 to 10, 1 being the smoothness, 10 is the scratchiest. This would be like a 4 to 5. It still has some kind of maybe scratchy feeling, but not to the unpleasant side. It's still pleasant writer. And probably it's also a matter of fine tuning. You will have to tune a little bit the nib. And also because I couldn't show you the last time the scroll work design on the Visconti, now you can see it because the camera focuses better here. So it's a nice design, nice well designed fountain pen, beautiful color, theme, scheme, and also whatever it represents. Nice for collectors, but also for an entry pen that's probably too expensive, and the performance, I must say, is maybe not as satisfying as one would have expected for this price range, but probably with a little bit of fine tuning you can make it a really great writer. Thank you for watching. I see you next time. Bye bye.